try third again. No. Oh. Yeah, third's not good. I don't like third. Don't need third. I could do with some brakes though. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to this video. It's Sunday afternoon and I've popped down to the garage where we're all closed to show you around one of my latest purchases. Now it's an online purchase I bought from Aston Barclay on the online sale about a week or two ago. I couldn't get to the auction that day, but I was just sifting through, got on it quite late onto the page because the customers out on the pitch, managed to get back on quickly and sort of had a look at a few cars. Now I'd missed a few of them that I wanted to buy, but later on this yellow Fiat 500 came in. Now it's a 2008 plate, 1.2 petrol, it's done a few miles if I'm honest with you, it's done about 150,000 miles, but it was a very bright looking thing on the pictures that I was shown. Only a few pictures on there, and to be honest with you I thought, you know, if it's just going to be sort of the 500ish quidish mark, it might be worth a go, because I get asked for these all the time, in particular for people who maybe can't afford a retail one off the pitch, so they might ask, I get traders asking for them off me. You know, if they get one that's a bit ropey or anything like that, let me know. I've got a couple of people lined up for it. So I thought, do you know what, it's worth a go, we'll buy it, see what it's like. You know, if we can trade it on and make a little drink out of it, great. And if we can't, we might be able to use it for bits on other ones we've got here. Like I said, we've got some lower mileage, nicer ones, newer cars on the pitch, so they're useful for parts because some of the bits can be quite difficult to get hold of. So I thought I'd take a gamble on it. I gave slightly over what I wanted to pay as well. The bidding got the better of me online. Not something that I usually do, I'm usually quite strict, but for some reason this day I paid a little bit more than I wanted to. Went to 600 quid, chucked the fees on and we're near at £790. So we're quite deep into this Fiat. I really wanted to give about 500, that would have made the car roughly about £600, a bit more palatable. But anyway, what's done is done, I can't turn it back. The car is now here, my colleague has picked it up and dropped it off. So I've had a quick look around it, and to be honest with you, it's not looking good. It's certainly in a lot worse shape than it looked online, but that's the way it goes. But anyway, let's go and have a look at it first, give it a proper assessment, have a walk around, go for a drive, and then weigh up what to do with this Fiat and work out if I've made a bit of a mistake on this 500. Let's go and have a look at it. Right guys, you'll have to persevere with me with the wind. It is horrendous today. So here it is guys, anyway, it's landed, the Fiat 500. Like I said, it's a 2008 plate, 1.2 petrol, pretty much standardised Fiat 500 you see. They only ran 1.2 petrols and the 1.3 diesels and sort of the standard models, obviously excluding all the above stuff. Later on they brought out the twin air model. To be honest with you, I would just go for the 1.2 petrol if you're going to buy one, because it's probably the most solid, reliablest engine of the bunch. And it also has £35 a year or £30 a year road tax. But the car itself, let's have a look at it. Well, first of all, off the bat, we have to say that we've got a big ding in the wing, which I did know about, I did see that, but obviously I couldn't see how bad the paintwork was on the pictures, as in it's been previously painted. So we can see straight away there that someone's had a flick can job on this, not matched it up properly. We've had stickers put on along it as well to cover up some of the bad paintwork he's had previously. We've got a little bit of rust down the bottom of the sill, which is quite common on Fiat 500s. The rear quarter's been painted, which is probably why this sticker's been put on it to try and get rid of some of the sort of blending that's gone on, which is not worked out quite well for it. He said, I'm not quite sure whether it's the primer or something, or some of the undercoat's coming back through. It's not in great shape. Wheels aren't too bad actually. What I should have done was use the wheels off this and put it on that other one which I've just had painted. That would have probably been a better option maybe, if this is as bad as I assume it is. Rest of the car, it's not too bad. The back end is probably the best bit of the car, the rear of it. It's pretty grim, isn't it, when the rear of the car is the best bit. But the lights are good. These usually crack lights and they can go a bit crazy paving and all sort of bit, you know, plastic lights and stuff. They can fade, so they're not too bad actually. They're good set of lights on it. The tailgates handles working as well. They're very common for braking these, and they're quite expensive then. They can be about 60-70 quid to replace, because you've got to buy the whole lot second hand, or you can buy them new but it'll cost you. Parcel shelf still there, would you believe? For what it's worth, that is a parcel shelf in a Fiat 500, the smallest parcel shelf in the world. We've got the mats, yellow mats in there. I don't think they are Fiat ones, let's be realistic. Little earwig there riding in the car. So I said, the rear of it, not too bad. We've got rust coming through on the quarter here. We've got rust at the bottom of the sill here, which I couldn't see on the picture because it was there's only a few pictures that were on it. Again, I mean, that wouldn't have been too bad. I could have probably rectified that myself. The bumpers popped out here. We probably could fix that, to be honest, once popping back in, but it's obviously clearly had a wallop on this corner, and it's been repaired badly as well. If we can't tell or not, and the sunlight's on it now, but it's all faded away, the paint, where someone's blown it in. It just looks far worse in the flesh than it does actually online when I bought it. Quick show of the sheet for you. Say it's 4 former keepers, it's a 1.2 petrol, so 150,000 miles. It's got an MOT till April next year, so someone could still physically use it. But it depends what it's going to drive like, really. A side light at the bottom here that's fallen out of the bumper, that wants reattaching. The actual bracket and everything looks like it's still there, just wants re-putting back in. We could probably do that just to sort that out, even if we're just going to get rid of it, trade it on or whatever, or try and put it in auction if it's as bad as I think it is. I can probably just fix that up and at least clean it up a little bit. Inside, it's horrendous. It wants a valet. The seats are awful. I mean, it just wants a valet, really. I mean, that was the only issue. I'd be happy with that. The seats are minging. They've not been washed in probably in years. They just want redoing, really. Plastics, though, are quite good. It's nice inside, actually, on the plastic side. The actual interior, the gear sticks all, and the gaiters are all there. It's not too badly worn. They've held up well for a car that's done 150,000 miles. Actually, inside here, it ain't too bad. The interiors in these seem to hold up quite well. They do seem to be sort of properly made, these things. For, you know, bear in mind these are a cheap small car. Right, well, the stereo works. We've got half a tank of petrol in it, that's a good point at least. Let's turn it on. 150 foul there, look. Revving her up. It sounds alright, in fairness. I'm not too concerned about the engine side of it. I mean, to be honest, very rare these go wrong. These Fiat 500s on the engine side, I've had the odd one with, like, you get ECU faults, they can be quite common, and the odd sensor that can play up, but once you sort of get to grips them and start work on a few of these, they're really quite straightforward to sort out. The engines are quite reliable, really. They've got quite an old school engine. There's a lot more worse modern engines out there than these little 1.2 fire engines they use in these Fiats. Shut that door, get the wind out. Got a nice glass roof there, that's a nice touch. Obviously this is a lounge model, so we get the roof and the alloys, we get aircon. You know, it would have been a nice car in its day, I'm absolutely sure of it. In the back, well, it's pretty standard really. If it wants a valet, it's not too bad. Let's pop the bonnet and have a look. There it is, guys, the old 1.2 Fiat fire engine. It's a little bit murky under there, but obviously it's 150,000, it's probably never been clean, let's be realistic. It's not too bad really, for nothing out of the ordinary. Can't really see any major oil leaks underneath there or anything like that, just a bit of dirt and grime. There doesn't look anything sort of out of place under there, and from just listening to the engine then, it seems relatively okay. So really at the moment, the only issue we've got here is obviously the paint problem. The bodywork is far worse than I suspected. From what I could gather on the pictures online, I knew it had obviously this ding in the wing here, and I knew it had a little bit of rust on one of the sills on the opposites, on one side. I think it was this side here, because I couldn't get a picture of the opposite side. The sills wouldn't bother me because we could paint them themselves in-house. We'd just have a go at tidying them up. That really wouldn't bother me. And the wing, I probably could have got that painted, and then maybe just sort of have it, then got it half right, driving right, and traded it on, or maybe just throw it on as it is. So there's nothing stopping me doing that now, but I think there's more problems with this than just meets the eyes. I don't just think it's just bodywork that's the issue. I think we've got some mechanical gremlins, to be honest with you, particularly in the way it drives. So let's go and see if I am right. Let's go and take this out on the road if we dare, see what it drives like, and then see what is the best option to do with this car. But before we do that, just do a very quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by our good friends at Vehicle Score. Vehicle Score are the go-to place to check out your car. Now you can check out Vehicle Score at vehiclescore.co.uk or in the link description. It's a completely free service to use, guys. Let me just show you how good this service is by checking out this Fiat 500 that we're looking around today. So go on to vehiclescore.co.uk. I'm going to use my phone on this one. Type in the registration number. So on this reg here, we've got DV08 Foxtrot X-Ray Delta. Type it in and we'll get a score. Now the score will be like a credit score, so like 1 to 999. Now the score on our Fiat is not good, it's 105. The average score for other Fiat 500s like this one is about 400, so we are way down on the mark. Now, if we go down, we can actually find out why. It'll give you actual reasons to why they've got such a low score. So we've got a very low pass rate on the MOTs. We've got a lot of MOTs and comments on it. We've got recent fails as well. All these is feeding into the score and able to give you lots of extra information so you can make an informed decision when trying to buy a next vehicle. But it's not just about scores, guys. You're getting lots of free information. So on Vehicle Score, you get information on all the spec of the car, the actual tax band of it, the last recorded mileage, all the mileage history from previous years. It'll give you an estimated valuation, which is really cool. You don't usually get that on most checks, especially free checks. So you get an actual valuation of the car. It'll give you information on common problems of it. So for instance, on this model, suffers of electrical issues, which is right, suspension problems, which is correct, brake system faults, and gearbox faults. Maybe you might see some of those on our drive in a minute. Let's see. It'll give you in-depth history of the previous MOTs, a mileage tracker, and even a future estimated value. So check it out, guys. It's completely free to use. And also don't forget to check out their report checks. Now they've got two types of checks they offer, the ultimate report and the salvage report. Now the salvage check report covers the car if it's ever been involved in an accident and is not being unrecorded. So this is talking about unrecorded losses. Unfortunately, a lot of cars these days, it's becoming very common, don't end up going through the insurance when they've had an accident. They end up going into salvage auctions and getting resold on, quite badly damaged, and then it can then be repaired and then put back out for sale. Now if you're going to go and buy a car and it was written off and you know about it, i.e. it was a category N or S car, whatever, you know what you're buying and obviously the price will reflect it. But what happens if you bought a car and it turned out that it was previously damaged and it should have been written off, but because it's gone through the insurance company, which unfortunately is very common, you've ended up buying a car inadvertently which otherwise would have been written off, and you may even pay top money for it because it's gone under the radar. It's not gone through the insurance companies and it's not going to be picked up on a general HPI search. You see, that's what it's about. You've got to make sure you cover yourself for those guys, and that's why the salvage check from Vehicle Score is one of the best around. It's so competitive, it's less than a cup of coffee. Get yourself a search done and anything you're buying, and make sure that your vehicle has never been unrecorded. But also, if you want to go more than that, you want the bells and whistles, then you need to check out the ultimate report. The ultimate report not only checks the salvage auctions, but it's also checking out the VCAR register, the insurance database loss register, like a HPI. So it'll tell you if it's been categorized. So if it has gone through insurance company, it will tell you category N, category S, it will let you know. Also, it will check for finance, make sure there's no outstanding hire purchase on it, or it's never been on a lease program, or it's not been logbook loan been taken out on it. These things are really common. About 1 in 8 vehicles put through on the ultimate check do come back with some sort of outstanding finance, so make sure you always make sure you get the proper check done on it. The cost of the reports is one of the most competitive out there, and it gets better because Car UK viewers get a discount on top of the great prices. 15% off by using our promo code CARUK15. You'll find that in the link description. Go on to Vehicle Score, any of those two searches, type Car UK 15 to get your discount off the incredible prices. And remember, guys, the basic service is completely free to use, so make sure you get it on your phone and make sure you use it whenever you're checking out a car. So make sure you check them out, guys. It's vehiclescore.co.uk. You'll find the link and the promo code in the description. Right, let's go and take this for a drive. Fires into life. Okay, so off into first and second are okay. Got a little bit of gearbox noise, if I'm honest with you. We have got a little bit of sort of chattering, if you like. Not so much a whine, but there is definitely something not quite right. Into third. Oh shit. Oh no, we can't get third. This is not looking good. So we've got no third gear into fourth. Fourth's alright. We don't need a third gear. Fourth and fifth will do. See what fifth works. We got fifth gear. Let's try the brakes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We've got no brakes. The pedal's going to the floor nearly. We've got brakes working on two sides, so I think we need to turn this around pretty quickly. The brakes feel okay at first on the top of the pedal, but then when you just slam on like I've just done then, there's not much happening. The pedal's creeping down to the floor. It's probably got a leaky wheel cylinder, so I think we need to nurse this back into the garage pretty sharpish. We've got knocks and bangs everywhere. The back suspension's knocking. We've got the front suspension knocking. This is turning into a bit of a pig of a car. I don't know if you can hear all that noise in the background. It is horrible. I'm going to nurse it around this corner. Into second. Ooh, Gearbox mounts are gone as well. I can hear them shuddering away. Oh, that whining second's horrible. So try third again. No. Oh. Yeah, third's not good. I don't like third. Don't need third. I could do with some brakes though. Apply them brakes again. Yeah, there is a bit of braking going on, but it's not a lot. I suspect what's happening is that probably a rear wheel cylinder, the brake drums on the back of these, it's probably leaking, it's losing a bit of pressure. So we've still got brakes mainly at the front. One of the real cylinders there is obviously causing a bit of fluid loss, and we're going to have the pedal creeping down to the floor. So I am going to sort of nurse this back in. Probably if I'd known it was that bad, I wouldn't have took it out on the road. But this is not looking good, guys. We've got a noisy gearbox. Vehicle score did say common fault was a gearbox on him, so credit where credit's due there. That box is tatered. It's got, oh god, them brakes are terrible. Yeah, it's got a needs a gearbox at least, and then every suspension on it sounds like it's knackered, from the bushes to the arms and the bushes to the rear shockers. It's just horrendous. If you're going to put a gearbox in it, you have to put a clutch in it as well. You're into a hell of a lot of money to get this car into some sort of realistic state. It's just not really viable. Let's be honest with you. This car is a lemon, or as we call in the trade, a crock of shit. Oh, the banging's horrendous. Right, I've nursed it back round the corner. I ain't going any further in this. This car is dangerous. Oh, pulling into the yard now, and I've opened the gate for 2 minutes to do this test drive with you guys, and someone's walked on the pitch. We're not even open, so someone's snuck on the gap I've left in the door. Oh, right, I'll go and deal with them in a sec, and then we'll have a talk about this Fiat 500, what to do with it, because to be honest with you, it ain't worth fixing. So, but how do we get out of it? We are nearly £800 into this car, so I'm going to have a quick think while I speak to this gent about what to do with it, and how much money are we potentially looking to lose on it. Well, let's go talk about that in a sec. Okay, so what are we going to do with this Fiat 500? Well, to be honest with you guys, it isn't looking good. I think I'm going to struggle with this one, purely because I'm going to now have a problem trading this on. I have got traders who will buy this, who will want to buy it. However, one of the few things that they're not going to want to get involved in is if it needs a gearbox. You see, there's not much money left in this car. If it had been a 70,000 mile car and it'd been a little bit cleaner, or we could have made it a little bit better, then there's some legs in it, because we could then afford maybe to spend probably the best part of £400 having the gearbox repaired. But when the car's probably, I mean, it's not really a retailable car, but you can imagine it on a marketplace like a Facebook or somewhere, someone may be selling it with an MOT and driving okay and a little bit more smarter. It could easily be a £1,500 car. You're not going to find many Fiat 500s around that sort of price or under. They do hold the money quite well, and they are popular, and it would sell even with big miles on it, but it needs to drive right, and that is far from driving right. It's driving like a dog. There's so much wrong with the suspension, which is odd because the MOT last year was completely clean on it, so it's clearly had something a bit untoward gone on there. You don't usually see a car with that many miles on with no advisory on the MOT. Even me just popping my head under the back of the car a minute ago, I can see that the axle's not in great shape. They rot as well on these, and it's not in great shape. It's not rotten, but it's not far off. So it's definitely had a very lenient MOT, should we say, last year round. So, I mean, the state of it as well, the suspension, it's not in great order, and that gearbox, like I said, has just killed it off. So I'm not going to be able to trade this on, because I can't go to traders and say, you know, here's this car, and lie to them and say it doesn't need a gearbox when it does. I'm going to be honest with them, and I just don't think there'll be a market for it. I think I might get bids on it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to maintain or get back what I paid for it. So I've got two options. I either try and trade it onto a trader and just take a loss, which is probably what I'll end up doing, or we could maybe try and throw it into an auction, get rid of it that way. But to be honest with you, I don't think we'll make much more for it. I think in an auction it might do 700 or 800 quid on a very good day. You know, maybe someone is out there like I was and maybe gets a little bit exuberant and puts their hand up and bid on it. Who knows? But take your fees out, you're not going to be much better off. I doubt we're going to get our money back on it, and then we've got the hassle of taking it all the way up to the auction now, and to do that. So I'm going to have to do something with it. I'm not sure what, but it's going to involve me basically blowing money on it, because the alternative of fixing it is just not viable. It probably want at least £700 or £800 thrown at it with suspension bits and gearbox parts and clutch parts, and even then what we're going to have is probably a car that's at best maybe worth 1,500 quid if we tidied it up and did a little bit of paint on it. But what's the point spending all that money just to get our money back and make ourselves even more busy? Just get rid of it and just lose a little bit of money on it. Now it might seem odd to some people just being sort of casually just say, well, you know, blow a few £100 or whatever, it doesn't matter. But really in this game it just comes part and parcel of it. It's the norm. Every trader will lose money on cars. It happens to every trader pretty much every month of the year. They always get a car they're going to lose money on. And if you meet a trader that says they never lose money on anything, then they are an absolute liar. And believe me, I know a few of those. They will never admit they lose £1 on a car. Everything they buy turns to gold. They sell 30 cars on a pitch that only holds 20. The usual bullshitters, basically. The reality is you lose money in this game on cars. If you're going to buy 10 cars on average, I'd say probably at least one of them I will blow a little bit of money on, but it doesn't matter, because as long as the other 9 cars that you've had in, you've made profit out of them, overall you're way up, and that's what it's all about. You just take the rough with the smooth. The main thing to make sure you don't do is you don't repeat the same mistakes, learn from your mistakes. I've been doing this for the last 18 years now, and even now I still make the odd blunder. It just happens, and sometimes you can have all the due diligence in the world, go buy a car from the auction and end up buying something with a hidden fault. It just happens, and sometimes you can just lose money on stuff even though you've done your due diligence. Now in fairness on this one, I probably could have avoided it. If I'd gone to the auction, seen the state of it, I probably wouldn't have even bidded on it. But I certainly want to bid at the level that I did online. This is the main thing. Online bidding, it does come with risks. It's not the same as going in person, which is why I always suggest that if you can do, always go to a sale room. I'm not a fan of bidding online. If I do that, it's more just for convenience. It's not the real best way to do it. I just prefer to be in the room, seeing the cars, watch them drive through, just being in that environment. So from now on, I'm going to make sure I don't bid online. I'm going to keep myself off there because it's very hit and miss. Get myself down to the auctions and just buy stuff in the flesh. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do with this one, guys. I'm just going to lose a little bit of money on it. I'm just going to get the money back in and move on and reinvest it into something else. It doesn't matter. It just comes part and parcel of being in the motor trade. So thank you for watching this one, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure you check out our vehicle sponsor, Vehicle Score, and make sure you check out and make sure you use the discount code on those checks. Make sure you get the best price for your checks going forward. So thank you again, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.